Welcome to the Under Review podcast, where Saturdays mean everything, rivalries run deep, and the SEC reigns supreme. Hosted by Todd and Marty, two die-hard fans breaking down every snap, storyline, and showdown across the Southeastern Conference. From the swamp to the plains, between the hedges to the bayou, no team is safe when it's under review. Now back to the action with Todd and Marty.
How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? Episode 74 after a wonderful week 5 it was. For some teams, got a lot to go over today. So we had some great games this week. Some other not so great games, I will say. But I don't know if you noticed that you're muted or not.
Yeah, I know. I was telling Brittany to go share the live.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so we had some pretty good games this week.
Really good games. I think our game of the week was really lived up to what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, that it was. But let's start out with some other breaking news on this fine Sunday afternoon. Like I called it. I said, if you don't play good and keep this game close, which it was 42-13 at halftime, Sam Pittman has been fired from the University of Arkansas. Bobby Petrino will be the head coach. Are you shocked with this?
Not one bit. Not one bit. Like I said, if they could, like you said, if they could have kept it close, it would have been a whole different thing. But they literally just got ran out of the building.
I think, like I said, this was one of the reasons why this was one of our games of the week. After some of the other great matchups there was that could have been this candidate, i.e. the Tennessee-Mississippi State game. But I wanted the Arkansas game to be a reference, and because it has more talking points. We'll talk about that later on in the show when we get to that. Billy said he gone, and I figured it would take a little bit longer with that. I was expecting a Monday morning, talk, but Sunday afternoon, I think it was around about our time, about 12:30. I got the notification and said he'd been fired. So, I mean, it's another great point.
And look, I mean, this could have happened last year just as easily. But
right.
Now, who did y'all pick for this game?
I picked Notre Dame.
I'm pretty sure I picked Notre Dame.
This is the only game I got right this week.
Sucks to be you.
I went 3-6 in pick'em, so I mean, or 3-7 in pick'em. So
hey, I made up a point because I think I was like 5th or 6th.
Well, let's run down this top 25 here. I think 1 and 2 and 3 are great. I think 1, 2, and 3 are perfect.
Yeah.
After Oregon, a big win over Penn State, which that game, we'll talk about it later on. That game, along with that, I think there was 3 games this week that could definitely be considered for game of the week or like game of the year.
Yeah, they were
that good.
Yeah, Ole Miss, I could probably see about where they're at, but Oklahoma, no way.
Yeah, I'll get to that here in a second. But, Ohio State, 1, of course. 2, Oregon, deserved. 3, Miami. All right, you're good. 4, Ole Miss. All right, you're out of your mind. Out of your mind. Number 5, Oklahoma. Go on somewhere. Get out of here. Number 6, Texas A&M. You done bumped your. How does Texas A&M jump 7 spots after beating a 3-1 unranked Auburn Tigers team at home? How?
But I mean, there was a lot of shakeup in the top 10, but I definitely didn't see them jumping all the way outside the top 5.
Right. That was just insane to me. Penn State drops to 7. Indiana making some noise with Fernando Mendoza at the quarterback position. They're up to 8. Texas at 9, overrated. Alabama at 10. We'll talk about that later. It was a good game. 11, Texas A&M. Texas Tech. Texas Tech is on that verge of can they be better, where are they in the Big 12? Georgia at 12. 13 at LSU. Big fall for the Tigers after being ranked 4th. Iowa State, who's having a pretty good season at 14. Tennessee, 15. I don't think Tennessee should be ranked there. The way they struggled against Mississippi State. But again, this is not the same Mississippi State team. It's not.
True.
16 Vanderbilt, which they have a big matchup next week as they bring in the number 10 Crimson Tide inside of, what do they call it, First Bank Stadium or something like that.
The one that's still getting put together.
Yeah. Georgia Tech 17. That was a close game this week. They should have got beat. Florida State, a team who did get beat, only moved down to 18. Missouri, ain't got nothing for them. Michigan, who cares? Notre Dame, again, still ranked. Now you're 2-2, but now you moved up to 21. Illinois, who has a big game coming up in a couple weeks against Ohio State. Brigham Young University sitting here at 23. Virginia, who beat Florida State 24, and then Arizona State 25. I don't think Arizona State deserves that.
No. Jump back to Virginia. I mean, these ACC teams are getting a little crazy. Georgia Tech, Miami. I mean, we know Miami's good, but Virginia and some of these other guys playing spoilers to a lot of these teams. Why am I sweating like a whore in church?
I understand that.
Jeez.
But again, there's something going on here. I don't know, but just going to take on out. But now it's time to get in one of our few segments, teams from around the state. So we're going to take it around the state. All right. So, again, around the state teams, we have Alabama A&M, Troy, Samford, South Alabama, Jacksonville State, Alabama State, University of West Alabama, North Alabama, and then UAB. We had 3 teams that were on a bye this week, and that was Troy, UAB, and North Alabama. And here we go. South Alabama played a good game against North Texas, which, we figured this was North Texas's game to win, 36-22. Mean Green take it. West Alabama in a close one against North Greenville, 52-44. Jacksonville State decided not to show up inside Southern Miss, 42-25.
Not one bit that they even. That was a shocker that they got blew out like that.
Yeah. Now this was the shocker. Alabama State put it on Florida A&M, 42-14.
So needless to say, the jacket stung the snake in one.
Yeah. The Paladins give Samford another loss, 31-13. Not a shocker.
No.
And this game was closer. Alabama A&M 34 does not beat Bethune-Cookman 41. Bethune-Cookman, they rise up to, I think, number 1 or 2 inside the SWAC after this win, I think right behind Alabama State. So that matchup in a couple weeks will be a good one to watch out for. And we'll have you covered right here on the Under Review podcast.
All right.
So now the records are, again, Samford, 0-5. I don't know if they will win a game this year. I don't know. South Alabama, 1-4. North Alabama, who did not play this week, was 1-3. And then you jump over to Troy, who's 2-2. Jacksonville State, 2-3. UAB, who's 2-2. Alabama State, 3-1. Alabama A&M, 3-2. And then University of West Alabama still undefeated at a perfect 5-0. Anything jump out to you here?
Well, the 5-0 from UWA and then the 0-5 Stanford. I don't know. Really, Jack State's kind of surprised me as that their win-loss.
Right.
I mean, I know they were going to go down a bit after this year when all the coaching changes with Rich Rod leaving and all that. I just thought they'd be a little bit better. And the Blazers, it's kind of about what I expected for them being 2-2. At this point, I do not know if Trent Dilfer is the man for the Blazers.
I don't either, but who else is there?
I mean, I don't think Coach Clark could get back into calling much ball. I think he's living the dream now and doing his own thing with his grandkids. But I think at the end of the season, it might be time to look at UAB another coach.
Here's a question here. This just popped in my mind. Why not Scott Gross?
At Clemson?
He's at Clemson. He's just an offensive analyst. I mean, come back home to Alabama and take the UAB job. Yeah, you've had the Jacksonville State job.
Mm-hmm.
You had that.
And
You could have took it last year.
Yeah.
So that's the question. Jacksonville State, I wonder if they made the call to him last year. Because, maybe he would want to come back.
I think I know Clemson has got a kind of up in the air with Dabo this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think what I've seen that they've really kind of settled down in Clemson. Yeah. I know the youngest is playing ball. He's doing really good out there. And I just don't know if that he would want to root back up. I know that's the life of a head coach or a coach. Right. But, I mean.
I don't know. If,
you mean John Gross?
That's it. I don't know why I said Scott Gross.
I was wondering. It took me a second, but.
I don't know here with the UAB if they fire Trent Dilfer, which I'm pretty sure they will after this year. I don't know if they try to find somebody local or, try to find somebody like a home run hitter, former coach here. Because not a lot of people would want to coach inside the state of Alabama.
Rush Probst.
That's what I was going to say too. But
he's got his hands full at Kusa, so.
Yeah. But we're going to step aside real quick, take an ad break from Tactical Home and Pest, and we'll see you on the other side.
Hey, babe, we got ants.
Okay, kill them.
No, really, there's a lot of freaking ants.
Well, what do you want me to do? I ain't no expert.
Well, fine then. I'll call Tactical Home and Pest.
Go ahead and call Benjamin.
Hey there, this is Ben with Tactical Home and Pest, proud sponsor of Todd and Marty and their Under Review podcast. And can I just say that if the bugs I deal with had referees, I'd be called for targeting. Tactical Home and Pest, 256-592-2842, or visit me at tacticalhomeandpest.com.
Again, thank you, Benjamin Dominguez, for the sponsor and Tactical Home and Pest for all your pest control needs. Now we're jumping into some SEC play. Bye weeks we have Florida, Texas, and Oklahoma, all of which did not get beat this week. Congratulations, teams.
Shocking Florida didn't lose this week.
Yeah. Oh, there goes old chicken legs talking that crap again. We'll see you in a couple weeks, buddy. He said roll tide, which that's words that I'd never like to hear. But he said it, and I say it because he said it. Vanderbilt, what a win.
Yeah, they 6 touchdowns for Diego Pavia really helped me out in fantasy. But this is kind of what we expected. I'm just shocked that still the Vandy defense gave up 35 points, and they're going to have to tighten them screws up with Alabama coming in next week. So,
this is the second Utah State team that scored 22 on Texas A&M, something that Auburn couldn't do. But we'll get into that here shortly. But I think Diego Pavia did play good. As much as I hate to say Diego Pavia did good at anything besides running that mouth, because he's very good at that. Going into next week is going to be a hard one to pick for me. I can go ahead and tell you that.
It's not. After
Go ahead.
No, we can talk about it next week.
Yeah. And what was a great one? Tennessee in first overtime taking down Mississippi State 41-34.
Solid game. We were watching Auburn and stuff. I didn't get to see much, but we kept flipping it back and forth. Joey Aguilar.
I think this was a great game for Mississippi State. Yeah, you lost. But you showed people inside the SEC who, when you play a Tennessee team that's predominantly good this year, close loss to Georgia, and then you take Tennessee to overtime. Yes, you're at home. You're about to be a force to be reckoned with here.
Mm-hmm.
And, I say they can go to a bowl. It might be the Birmingham Bowl, but they're going to a bowl this year, and I have put full faith in it.
Mm-hmm. And, I think this is Tennessee's second time, back-to-back overtimes. They've got to be getting tired. I know it sounds easy for me to say because I don't play the extra 45 minutes or so what is in overtime, but that takes a lot out of your guys. So, I mean, good to see from Mississippi State.
Definitely,
And
I'm very glad for it. Just trying to pull some stats up here.
looks like you playing button clicker.
Yeah. Oh, here. And another one that we didn't expect much out of. Missouri 42 at home to take down UMass. We only scored 6. Again, I don't know what to think of this Missouri team. I don't know what to think.
I don't either. I mean, it's like I said, we've never been high on them, but I mean, they're putting out wins, but yet they've had a baker's dozen cupcakes already.
Here's a question, for the people that are watching. Yes, we are live on Facebook every Sunday at 3 p.m. Here's a question. Do y'all think this Missouri team is legit, or do they just have a easy schedule? Please comment down below and let us know. We'll keep on moving, but we will go back to this question if you have anything about it. Because I don't know how I feel about this Missouri team just yet. They've played. They're undefeated, yes. They've beat one SEC team, and that's South Carolina, in a 9-point win. They've played Central Arkansas, Kansas, the Raging Cajuns. They get a bye next week, and then they jump into Alabama. Then it goes Alabama, Auburn, Vanderbilt, A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Arkansas. So, I mean, they're already at 5 wins, so they're already going to get a bowl, beating Arkansas.
Okay. All right, so put it this way. If the next 5 games that they had coming up, if they would have had them the first 5 games, what do you think their record would be? 1-4?
If they had Alabama, Auburn, Vandy, to A&M, Mississippi State. Yeah, I say 1-4.
So I think reality is going to set in here coming up. I guess the latter part of this second half of the season. But I don't know. And like I said, if they come in like either upset Alabama or upset,
But if Auburn upsets them,
one of
they got right.
That's Pawpaw.
Oh, Jesus Christ came through your door.
No, just Chuck's eating in there.
Oh, okay. But, their next 5 matchups are, SEC play. I get it. You have the right to schedule non-conference games. You have the right to play cupcakes. I get that. But even South Carolina, and Kansas, they're not great teams. So I don't understand why we
overall, like I said, they're not the best teams. But at the end of the day, your resume looks good because you're 5-0.
Yeah, you're right. After this bye week, I think the reality will set in for Missouri, and I hope it does. I'm tired of seeing them up there because I don't think they're that good. Now, if they come out and they beat Alabama, they come out and they beat Vandy, they lose to Auburn, and they lose to Mississippi State, and they lose to Oklahoma. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it'd be something to else watch out for throughout this season.
I think we've already spent too much time on Missouri for this one.
Yeah, I don't like talking about them much. And what was a shocker to me, Cutter Bull did not show up. South Carolina 35, Kentucky 13.
Yeah, and this is what I expected the whole time because we knew that Kentucky is trash. Zach Calzada really on the bench, and we didn't know how. Oh, he's hurt?
Yeah, I found that out.
Maybe his feelings.
Yeah.
Is something beeping?
I don't hear that.
I thought I heard some beeping.
But Lenore says... Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying we knew this could happen, and I don't say they needed a miracle to beat them, but South Carolina come and showed out.
I think South Carolina really put it on them in the second quarter, scoring 21 points. Kentucky was up at the end of the first quarter, 10-7, and then scored 0 until the third quarter, and they get a field goal, and that was it. But what really held them, Cutter Bowley, 10 for 19, 124 yards and 2 interceptions. I mean,
we suck again.
And then they lost 2 fumbles.
What was the turnover margin? 2-2.
Team stats. Turnover.
I mean, think if he threw 2 picks, lost 2 fumbles.
Turnovers were 4-0.
All right, so +4.
+4
so
for South Carolina. Yeah.
yeah, so that's anytime you have a plus in that or a negative in that category, probably not going to win.
Definitely not. I mean, it sucks to say. I think Mark Stoops might be the next coach that will be gone. I don't think he. Well, excuse me. I think he will be gone before the end of the season. I think Billy Napier's the next coach gone. I keep saying that because I'm gonna talk it into existence one of these days.
I get that.
But
well, they won this week. Well, they didn't lose this week, so
yeah, they didn't lose. That was the thing. All right, so guys, we're going to step aside one last time before we get into our 5 games of the week, and because we got a lot to talk about. So sit back, relax, and take a word. Let's hear a word from Chuck's Heating and Air.
This episode of the Under Review podcast is brought to you by Chuck's Heating and Air. Chuck has over 40 years of service and experience with residential services. He services most makes and models. He is Alabama licensed, bonded, and insured, and locally owned and operated. Are you hot and you're supposed to be cool? Are you cool and you're supposed to be hot? Then you've got a problem. Call Chuck. Area code 256-892-2757. Again, 256-892-2757. Chuck's Heating and Air.
Had to go find that beeping.
Find that what?
Find that beeping.
What was it?
The alarm.
Oh, I knew it was something. Where's the wild chickens at?
Not in this room.
Well, I was talking about Maddie and Knox, but either or.
Take a nap. All right, let's take a look inside the week. This week's 5 Under Review podcast games of the week here.
I think these could really be the best 5 we've had all season.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Technical difficulties.
Nothing new.
Jeremiah Love carving up. Jeremiah Love and CJ Gard, but I only put one here. Jeremiah Love and CJ Gard carving up this Arkansas defense 56-13. One of the reasons Sam Pittman got fired, yes, but I think it was 42-13 at the halftime.
Yeah, it was buddy. Like I talked in the pre-show, Jeremiah Love was really set for a breakout game, and he really did.
Yeah, so we'll start with Notre Dame here. CJ Gard 22 for 30, 354 yards, 4 touchdowns. Jeremiah Love on the ground, just 14 carries, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jaden Price, 13 carries, 86 yards, 1 touchdown. And then through the air, Jeremiah Love, 5 catches, 70 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And I want to say, is this the Devontae Smith kid that came from Alabama?
No, Devontae Smith's in the NFL.
No, there was another one. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, this same one. Used to play at Alabama. I think he had a fumble recovery inside this game. But Arkansas, 17 for 32, 207 from Taylon Green. 1 interception. Taylon Green on the ground, 10 carries for 81 yards. Omega Blake, 6 receptions for 73 yards. They did lose a big guy in Jaylen Brown. He got carted off inside the end zone before halftime. No word on that just yet, on my standpoint. But
that's a big loss there.
It's a big loss. He's a young guy too. I think he's only a sophomore. Yeah, he's a sophomore this year. He's having a pretty good year, but it's a big loss inside that running wide receiver core that's really thin with Omega Blake and tight end Jaden Platt already and Andy Jean. So.
Yeah, so like I said, at the end of this game, we talked about if Pittman got blowed out, he was gonna be done, and sure enough, we talked it right up. But after this, what was his tenure at Arkansas? More than 5 years, I know, right?
I think it was 5. Since 2020, I want to say.
Well, I mean, for a football team, a lot of other places wouldn't have stayed with him that long. Kind of like the certain situation with Stoops. I mean, he did enough to get by at Kentucky, but now
he's actually had winning seasons at Kentucky, though.
Well, that's a solid point as well. But now I think Arkansas, they made the right choice here. That they're they're getting players that play really good ball, but they just can't seem to get over the hump. And maybe a coaching change is what they need to get playoff contention.
I think here with that Stoops and Pittman situation, when you take a team like Kentucky that was going 2-8, or what was it,
last year,
2 and 3 win seasons, throughout the year, then you bring in a guy like Bob Stoops, and he's constantly giving you 7 and 8, building your program back up. That's what you want, and that's why he's been there for 13 seasons. But when you're at Arkansas and you're used to winning 8 to 9 games a year, during the McFadden and Mallett years.
Yeah.
You're winning 7 to 9 games a year, and then you get in the Pittman era, and you're winning anywhere from 5 to 6 games, barely making bowl eligibility.
Barely making. Yeah, I get that, and for the fan base, I think this is a good thing. Now, whether direction they go, I know Petrino is in them right now, which we know he's a pretty good coach. So
he was there during the McFadden and Mallett years. So
right. So whether they go a different route at the end of the year, but maybe they can get some more life out of what's left of this team.
We'll have to see. We'll keep y'all updated as much as we know, but it's definitely going to be fun to kick around this can. And probably what was one of the upsets of the week, Ole Miss taking on LSU at home at the Grove. Ole Miss pulls away 24-19. This game was electric. I watched a lot of it. I got kind of mad at Auburn. Kind of flipped this game on for a little bit and watched this. It was a better game, to an extent of those actually being defense played in this game and a little bit of offense.
Is all your eggs still in that LSU basket?
I think so. I'm going to still stick with it. I'm starting to lose faith in Garrett Nussmeier, though.
I done that last year, and nobody's like, he'll be fine.
Like I'm losing faith in Texas A&M's defense as well. We'll get to more of that this next slide. But, Garrett Nussmeier, 21 for 34, only 197 against this Ole Miss defense, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Harlem Berry, 7 carries, 22 yards, 1 touchdown. LSU ran for 59 total yards on this Ole Miss defense. 59.
Wow, that's so. Just for still on the LSU side, so is this kind of a reality check for them?
I think it is. I think they will be fine just after this. It's a rough patch in here. I'm still up in the air on where this Ole Miss team is at. Are they legit? Are they just getting lucky? We flipping the coin every game. Because at what point does Trinidad Chambliss mess up and then they put Austin Simmons back in?
Yeah, I get it. Just I don't know. For them to come in with their second-string quarterback and just dominate an LSU team as some got predicted to win it all, kind of hard shocking for me for them.
Yeah, let's again staying on the LSU side receiving. Xavier Thomas 3 receptions, 63 yards. Barry and Brown 5 receptions, 40 yards, and then Nick Anderson 2 receptions, 28 yards, and a touchdown. Whit Weeks picked up a fumble. AJ Halsey 13 tackles, 9 solos. Whit Weeks 10 tackles, 3 solos, 1 tackle for loss. And then West Weeks 4 tackles, 1 solo, and a half tackle for loss as well. So let's flip over to talking about this Ole Miss offense and defense real quick. Trinidad Chambliss 23 completions for 39 attempts, 314 yards. Mom over here saying Nussmeier was crappy yesterday, which he was. He absolutely played a terrible game, especially being a pro potential quarterback, and you only throw for 197 yards on this, what seems like mid defense, but apparently they're not when you look in the numbers, that they're actually probably good, pretty good. But again, I want to see more of this Ole Miss team. Can Ole Miss fight for that number 1 position inside of the SEC, which is up in the air after this week?
Most definitely. And
I think every team inside the SEC can have 1 loss by the end of the season, which that is something I said at the beginning of the year.
Yes, because like I've always said, we cannibalize each other, and we really.
Right. But I still feel like the SEC champion already has a loss this season. Take that as you will. You can go back and do your own records. I think as of week 5, I think the SEC champion already has 1 loss. 1.
Well, that knocks Vandy out.
Yeah, and Ole Miss. But going back on Trinidad, 314 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Kawan Lacey, thank you, Lord Jesus, she had a great game. Still lost
He
this
did.
week, though. I
Yeah.
still lost. Couldn't help it. 23 carries, 87 yards, and 1 touchdown. Trinidad on the ground had 14 carries and 71 yards. Logan Diggs, only 2 carries and 84 yards. He had a touchdown. And then Deuce Alexander, 3 carries for 4 yards. Talking about the wide receivers here, Caden Lee, 4 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Pretty much all the production they had. But they spread the ball out a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said,
9 different receivers this game.
Yeah, and I mean Trinidad. I mean that was kind of. I would say it was shocking, but I kind of liked it. I mean, I know that Simmons is done for a little bit, so it's good to see them get in that win column against a potentially good LSU team. But I mean, where does that leave Ole Miss?
Billy said as in Alabama, which Alabama does have 1 loss, so I could throw them into that mix. I can throw Georgia into that mix. I throw LSU into the mix. But that also takes away from Texas, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Vandy, Texas A&M, teams like that. So Centurion Perkins on this defensive line, 7 tackles, 3 solos. TJ Daughtery, 5 tackles, 3 solos. And then Antonio Kite, the Auburn transfer, 4 tackles, 4 solos, and 1 pass deflection.
So, I mean, I'm kind of a lot more better questions for Ole Miss coming out of this game.
Definitely. It's going to be something to watch. But let's go ahead and what should be named the Nightmare Game of the Week. But if I can get there.
Knox bringing in the
woes. As Auburn, yes, you see a blind Albie there for multiple reasons. Goes into Cal Field, plays a decent game. Offensive line could have done worse. I would have, if you said they looked any better, I would have probably, been blind Albie. But Texas A&M squeaks out the win, 16-10 at home.
I'm so frustrated because this team potentially has to be one of the best in the SEC with the players that we've got, and our offense sputtered and sputtered and sputtered. We would play 3 or 4 good downs, and then we would get laid into them and then piss it away.
I got a stat for you.
Oh, if it's something on what was our 3rd down conversion?
That's what I was trying to find.
I think it was
0 for 13.
Oh,
you're not winning a game like that. You go 0 for 13 and then 0 for 2 on 4th down. You only had 9 first downs compared to Texas A&M's 21. Yes, Texas A&M only went 3 for 14 on 3rd downs. But let's talk about something even better, the penalty yardage. There was 23 penalties inside this game. 13 for Texas A&M for 119 yards. For Auburn, there was 10 penalties for 69 yards. Most of them penalties for Auburn was on number 65, Xavier Chaplin, who absolutely needs his hands cut off so he cannot hold, because he already don't block. He needs his hands cut off from his body and sit down, because if that sucker jumps off sides one more time, I'm shoving my size 10.5 shoe so far up his freaking offensive lineman butt that he's going to be able to pull his freaking teeth out of it.
So let me ask you, was he playing for Jeremiah Wright?
Huh?
Was he in for Jeremiah Wright?
No, that was the other side.
Okay,
Chaplin's on the left, Wright's on the right.
Okay, I thought Chaplin was covering for somebody, or
no, he was one of the best prospects that we had got from the offensive line portal, quote unquote, that they said in many years, and they can't stay on sides, likes to hold. It just absolutely burns me up just watching him even take the field.
Yeah, and he's been a starter all year.
Yeah, he's been the starter. He started Virginia last year.
So what that means to tell me, seeing he just got beat every play, because usually because we watched the games over at Boog and Alley's, and Kevo was with us. But man, I tell you, you're getting that beat off the ball that you have so many penalties like that.
When you have to sit back here and say, "Look out! Here comes my defender," because I can't block him because I'm thinking about Pillsbury Doughboys running around in my freaking brain because I'm goddamn starving.
Yeah, it just burned. I mean, I didn't realize the penalties were that bad, but I knew it shot us in the foot a lot, which it has all year. Now, Grant, there was nothing against officiating this game, but me and Dustin and Kevin talked about, even all the games, not just this one, but like the whole, and even some other games that we've watched. It's like the officiating is slowing down the game. That's like I know, granted, there's a penalty on every play, but it seems to be more relevant. I think there was like 3 or 4 stoppages of play for reviewing. I think like the Alabama touchdown or the Georgia touchdown where the guy was like that far from the goal line and he was down, but they had to take 5 or 6 more minutes to look at it. You could see he was down in the original.
Yeah.
So
Hayden Coker says that he loves you, Marty.
He tells me at least 16 times a day at work. So,
so let's get into some of these stats. We've already spent too much time on Auburn this week. But Jackson Arnold only 18 for 33, 125 yards. All right, here's the question I bring to you before I say that then. How many more games does he play before we see a change in Ashton Daniels or Deuce Snipe? It's not going to be next week. We are off, and then we play Georgia. I don't think you make that change before Georgia.
No, I don't think so either. But we know Deuce, and we've seen Deuce play a little bit, but he struggled during them games. Right. I think with him being a freshman, I don't think he has has had the opportunities to where he could be a starting quarterback yet. We know he's athletic. We know he can run the ball. But Jackson Arnold's definitely a better passer in that fact. But Arnold runs the ball as well, too. But it hasn't translated over into our offense where it has been paper dry all year, besides the games which have blowout wins. These close games, this Oklahoma game, this Texas A&M game. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not saying we could be 5-0 right now.
Well, I'm saying we could be 5-0. Hugh Freeze is absolute. He's 2-23 in one-score games. He is 1-10 versus top 25 opponents. That has got to change, especially the one-score games. You win half of those, your tenure at Auburn has changed so much dearly. And when you're only winning 2 out of 25 matchups, you're only winning 2 of them in one-score games, there's something wrong, man. Come on now.
And I want to give most of the credit to DJ Durkin. I thought to hold Texas A&M to only 16 points. I mean, I think we had 3 or 4 sacks on, yes, our secondary is still not the best. They're not trash, but DJ Durkin, if you're getting a moral win here, it's for him and Auburn's defense.
I'm tired of hearing about a moral freaking win for this Auburn team.
It pisses me off too.
Rushing the ball, we got to run the ball more. 6 carries for 28 yards for Jeremiah Cobb, but a 4.7 average is not bad. We need to rely on that just a little bit more. Jackson Arnold 15 for 11.
How can you do that when every other play we're holding?
Or there's a defender in your face because Chaplin just looks at him and has butter on his hands.
That's what I'm saying. Why run the ball when
there's move that freaking 17-year-old to Chaplin spot? He can at least throw a body in front of him. Jesus Christ!
The one that come in for Connor Lew when he was back this week.
Backup center. Yeah. Well, Connor Lew missed. I don't know if you saw, but that last drive, Connor Lew absolutely missed his defender and gave Jackson Arnold a good headshot. He did that twice that game.
I mean, our coordinator. I was trying to praise Auburn's defensive line early in this season, but now it's kind of slacked off. We're paying better teams, but come on, coordinators. I mean, we know we got the talent down there. And that's what drives me nuts. We know we got the talent, but
Eric Singleton 5 for 56 on touchdowns. Brandon Frazier had a really good game, 5 for 28.
He was targeted a lot more.
Yeah, I like to see that. I like my tight ends. I like Brandon Frazier. I've seen a lot of people say they don't like seeing him on the field. Why? He's a big target, and he's pretty reliable. I mean, especially when he's open. Cam Coleman 4 for 18. But the big defensive player was Xavier Adkins. 10 tackles, 6 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses, and 1 interception that was almost a pick six. And I about shook my whole house because I was jumping up and down.
Yeah, it was. Should have been. He just got gassed right there at the end. But
yeah, I mean, we did 3-yard return too.
Yeah, we did score on that drive, so it don't.
But when Hudson Cack is kicking the ball 9 times for 403 yards and 1 touchback, 2 down inside the 20, there's something wrong. Like, kicker has more punt yards than you have offensive yards. It's something wrong.
Yeah, I'm surprised his foot didn't fall off before the
figured
game
it
was
would
over.
have. The turnover, Marcel Reed had a pretty decent game, 5 for 22, 207, 1 interception. Auburn I said all year, Auburn has had a great defensive line. You're not running on them. And then Le'Veon Moss runs 21 times for 139 yards and 1 touchdown. Absolutely shut me up.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see that he's back. I had him on my fantasy team last year. He played great. But glad to see he's back. But I wish it could have waited a week. You know what I mean?
Oh, I definitely did. But he played a heck of a ball game. Give it to the kid. He played a heck of a ball game.
And then another play that really helped me out this week was Casey Concepcion.
Oh, he killed us. Man,
7 receptions, 134 yards. Mario Carver, who we pretty much stopped, who was very electric in the past game, 4 receptions for 34 yards. Terry and York, who had an absolutely great game, 7 tackles, 6 solos, 1 sack, 2 tackles for losses, 1 pass breakup. Will Lee, the third, 6 tackles, 4 solos. Auburn, again, the second straight week, Auburn gives up 5+ sacks. We've done it again. Can't happen.
No.
Albert Regis had a really good game.
Yeah. Really, really disappointed where I thought that we could have played better. We're shooting ourselves in the foot, a lot of it.
Okay. Well, like I said, we get our off week next week, and then we get Georgia. So we got some time to relax and get this beat before we get this beat. Our interstate game of the week brought us a beauty as we was going inside the Big Ten, inside Beaver Stadium at Penn State. Oregon sneaks up the overtime win, 30-24, as Drew Aller threw an interception on the last play of the game.
Really good ball game. We were flipping back and forth because I know I had picked Penn State. But, man, the overtime in this was really good to watch. These Big Ten games this year have been a lot more than we've expected.
Yeah, I think, again, I didn't see enough out of Oregon just yet. Yes, they won. But, again, I don't still see that being the great Oregon team. And Billy called it. He said Franklin chokes again. He did. I think, but Penn State did have, and this causes from him choking, Penn State had every single opportunity to win this game. They played good. It's just Drew Aller somewhat, I guess, missed up and just absolutely bombed out here and, threw an interception late in this game and sealed it for the Ducks.
That makes me put my own foot in my mouth from what I'm saying that as they had all the big stars like in Allard and the other guys, and what did Oregon have? Oregon had more points. That's all that matters. Oregon had more points.
That's what Oregon had the most of was points.
Yeah, that's all Coach Ede never said. Who's going to win the game? Whoever scores the most points.
That's all that matters at the end of the day is whoever has the most points, and at the end of the game, who's still undefeated. And Oregon stays perfect, 30-24 inside Beaver Stadium. And that was your Under Review podcast, Interstate Game of the Week. But now it's time to get into our Game of the Week, which, again, this was a great game last year. It's what I would claim to be the Game of the Year last year. And now it's in the running again for Game of the Year was Well, the music didn't play and it messed me up. It brought us into Sanford Stadium once again as Alabama takes down Georgia in a wild one, 24-21 for your Under Review podcast, Week 5 SEC Game of the Week.
So did we just go PG-13 with all the smoking and drinking going on here?
Well, look, Alabama, they deserved a good cigar after a great win. And Georgia
needed
drinking a little whiskey after that game, you know what I mean?
But again, like we said, this was probably the best game all week, really.
I said that's hard to throw into because, again, there was great games this week. You had 2 overtime games, Tennessee, Mississippi State, interstate game of the week. This game was better defensive played.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of points scored. You flip to that Tennessee, Mississippi State game, 52 points, whatever. A lot of points going on. You flip over to the Oregon, they scored a little bit more, 31-20, something like that. This game was something that kept you glued to the television because you didn't know if there was going to be an interception, fumble, a defensive stop, a wide open man who, first of all, let's talk about having Ryan Williams wide open, busting through KJ Bolden, and then he just breaks the nail and drops the ball.
Yeah. Did Alabama end up scoring on that drive?
I think so.
But still, that's where I've said it all year, and I say it. Bernard is Alabama's #1 wide receiver.
Well, this game is more Isaiah Horton, 5 receptions for 65 yards and a touchdown. But, Jeremy Bernard even completed the pass, by the way.
Yeah, he did. But, no, that's shocking. We get all this hype around Will Williams. And, look, when Simpson threw that ball, and you can see on the camera going through the air, and then the screen comes down, you see Ryan Williams wide open, automatically think 6.
I did. I told Maddie, I said, this is it. That's what if he scores there, which again they scored later that drive, I get it, but he scores there off a big bomb pass, just like the end of last year's game. It helps Alabama build that momentum inside Sanford Stadium,
that could have been another Daniel Moore painting right there.
And this game could have been worse than it was last year.
Yeah, well, and
worse than it was.
Like Billy says too, Georgia done the same thing in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that would have, I don't remember if they scored that drive, but that was big missing that.
Yeah, I want to say that was, I don't know if it was Zachariah Branch or London Humphreys, but it was wide. It's just, and as a football fan, that is the worst thing, especially, not having a dog in this fight, really. But, being a football fan and just watching it, I think not having a dog in a fight, watching them and missing an open pass like that just makes my heart hurt even worse. Yes, I laughed when Ryan Williams missed his because I can't help it. Kid's 18 years old. Kid's a phenom, but can't catch a ball to save his life. I felt both of them. I mean, Ryan Williams was a little bit more funnier than the dude from Georgia's. I wanted it to be more of a game, but drop passes to me somewhat are funny, but
so Billy just brought it up. Georgia didn't score that drive, so
yeah,
he catches that touchdown. Does that put it out of reach for Georgia?
I mean, if you look at it, if he does not score that drive, they score. Okay, it is 28-24. I don't. You said that was in the third quarter, if you said correctly.
Whether I said it correctly, third or fourth, but still, there was, the defense played fairly well.
Right. I think it would have been a little bit different. I think Alabama would have had a little bit more pep in their step inside the fourth quarter to, go down the field and do more with that. So I think it would have been better to see him catch that ball, but. Let's get into some stats here. I think, Ty Simpson, he did have a good game. He went 24 for 38, 276, 2 touchdowns. Jan Miller, glad to have him back. He played his little heart out. Only a 2.9 average, but 16 carries for 46 yards. But the big question, the big answer here was having him back and see what he can do for this Alabama Crimson Tide, offense, because they needed a run game and they needed one bad.
I think he answered the bell there.
Yeah.
I thought he was a really big present for Alabama. He, did what we expected Jan Miller to be doing all season. It's glad to see him back. But I want to jump to Georgia. What was that number 33?
Chauncey Bowens.
Let me tell you, that dude is a hoss.
Sucker, right.
That's what me and Dustin were talking about. That dude could pull a tractor.
And, it was crazy to see that because it wasn't Nate Frazier this game. I think Alabama schemed for Nate Frazier, which brought in another running back like Chauncey Bowens, who can do the same thing as Nate Frazier can, but just a little bit faster and a little bit harder. Yeah, and I think that's what helped him. But let's finish up with Alabama. Like I said, Isaiah Horton, 5 for 65, 1 touchdown. Ryan Williams, 5 for 43, no touchdowns. Jeremy Bernard, 5 for 35, 1 touchdown. Deontay Lawson did get a fumble recovery. Bray Hubbard played a really good game. 9 tackles, 5 solos, half tackle for loss. God dang. 1 pass deflection. Justin Jefferson also played great. 8 tackles, 5 solos. Big guy on the defense. Damani Jackson had a half a sack. Or no, that is LT Overton. Excuse me, LT Overton with a half a sack, 6 tackles, and 4 solos. So before we get, I'm going to flip over to the Georgia side real quick. Gunnar Stockton was absolutely terrible this game. I mean, he only missed 7 passes. Not bad. But you got 13 for 20, 130 on the ground, or through the air. 6.5 is your average, 1 touchdown. 78 QBR, which QBR is a made-up percentage, so really don't – it wasn't around when Brett Favre and Chipper Jones and all these people were playing different sports. It's not a thing. It's freaking – don't get caught up in QBR, I'll tell you that every time. I just think it's a made-up stat. It's not completion percentage, which is what it needs to be. On these ESPN apps, it needs to be completion percentage. Because then it has somebody stupid like me have to go in and manually do it myself, and I hate that.
Math ain't mathin'.
Math ain't mathin'. But Chauncey Bowens, like I said, 12 carries, 119 yards, 1 touchdown, 9.9 average for him. Nate Frazier, it wasn't terrible, 7.5 average for him on the ground, 4 carries for 30 yards. Gunnar Stockton, 5 for 22 on the ground. 5 receivers caught the ball this week. Kobe Young, 4 for 59, touchdown. Zachariah Branch, one of their better receivers, 3 for 35. And London Humphreys only got in the action with 1 carry for 9 yards. Need to see more out of your big guys like Zachariah Branch and your speedsters like London Humphreys.
Yeah. I mean, overall, stats are stats, but Alabama really got after it right here. Won the ball game, which good thing because I did pick Alabama against my better judgment.
I don't have better judgment when it comes to that red team.
Solid point, but because we got no hope in the blue team, right?
I go for the green team on Sundays.
That's how I told we all watched the game, and I said I hope they both lose.
That's how I feel in 2 weeks. But that's all we had for today. A little bit longer because we went a little bit more on some rants this week, and I usually don't do that, but God dang it, Auburn. I don't. I really hold myself really composed, especially being the third child. I'm type of a hothead at some points, but when you, God dang it, when you just miss block after block, when you know somebody's blitzing and you still can't pick it up with 5, 6 blockers, you still can't pick it up, and they're only rushing 4. That'll burn me up until.
Whenever I see an empty backfield, all I think is, we're going to get sacked.
They're going to bring the house if they bring
the Yeah, if you see Jackson Arthur standing by himself, we know the rush package is on.
Yeah. That's all we have for you today. Remember, on Thursday, we're bringing in a special guest. Kevin Alexander will be on the show. Not a lot of games to go over next week. Only 5 SEC games. So we'll have the 5 SEC games, our interstate game of the week, and the around the state games. And that's all we got for you. So pretty much a pretty short episode for next week. That'll be Thursday, live on all platforms at 7 a.m. Don't forget, after this is over, give me a little bit. We'll have week 8 or 6s, whatever, 7, week 7's interstate game up on the Facebook page. Go vote, go share it. So I think week 7, we ain't getting that far in. But we also want to thank we go backwards. Thank our sponsors from Chuck's Heating and Air to Tactical Home and Pest for everything that they do for our show. Want to give a shout out to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for bringing us here for another week. Thank you for the wise for helping us make it here for this week.
We're not killing us.
Either or. Thank you to Chicken Legs and Jughead at the Dadpod. That is Nicholas Adams and Hunter Brassfield. Thank you to Brandon Trammell for everything that he does. And the voice of the Unreviewed podcast, Jud Dickinson, and Cody Mealer, who unfortunately was not here this week, but helped us out a lot last week. Helped me get through last week. But that's all we have for y'all this week. Want to thank y'all for spending the time that y'all did with us, even if it was just to click on to say, hey, that's fine. You still interacted with us. That helps us out a lot. We really appreciate it. Bring your comments for next Sunday, because we'll have a lot to go over in a short amount of games. And we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. And God loves you here at the Under Review Podcast. And we'll see you next time when we go Under the Monitor.